On today's Saturday news, we have an update on AEW's Jim Ross following a health scare.
Mercedes Mone believes there should be no competition between companies.
Will Ospreay wants another Ricochet match.
And we've got details on the Owen Hart Cup. Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Phil Chambers. I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But what is first?
First up, we need to talk about JR because, Jim Ross, there was, over the last couple of days, a lot of people probably seen on social media that he ended up in hospital. It was a bit worrying. I think he was talking about like a shortness of breath. And then he put a photo on X, I believe with his daughters, I think it is. And like his family sat like kind of laying in a hospital bed. And it's always a bit worrying because we love JR and we want to make sure he's all right. So a lot of people were just interested in what's going on, really. So Dave Meltzer, in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, he has given a bit of an update, and he said that good old JR's dealing with a Class A flu and raised heart enzymes on top of the breathing problems that were mentioned as well. That's why he ended up in the hospital in the first place. Meltzer did then add that he's receiving excellent care and he's expected to be fine in a few days. That's awesome, obviously, great news. But there was like kind of thing with this as well. He's probably, he isn't going to be at Double or Nothing this weekend because, he needs to look after himself and he needs to get back on his feet. So he's not going to be there. He was originally planned to be there because he has been, that's how he's been used in AEW, hasn't he? Over the last couple of months, he's been the pay-per-view guy and it's been great because it's made those big matches feel a bit more special because JR's there and it's JR, that's what happens. So it's always concerning. Like I say, it's just always concerning when you see anything going on with JR right now, like a health scare or anything like that. He's had a couple over the last year or so. And it's good to see that he's getting good treatment and he is going to be fine in a few days' time. But just take your time, JR. Just take your time. Wrestling's going to be here for you. It will be. So just take your time, get yourself in a good condition. And then, we want to see you back behind that commentary desk in a good position, feeling all healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best to JR. Definitely hope he gets well soon. Like you say, wrestling never stops, so it will always be there for him when he wants to come back. And just having him sort of on those special pay-per-view events, it just kind of, whenever you hear his voice, everything just sounds a bit more special and a bit more, historic, I guess. I don't know. There's something about his voice. It's the voice of wrestling.
That's it.
At the end of the day. So absolutely, get well soon, JR. But speaking of AEW, Mercedes Mone has a first match in just over a year coming up at Double or Nothing against Willow Nightingale. That's what her name is. But she has been doing a bit of the interview rounds leading up to this, promoting this event, and she's speaking to US Weekly. Just saying that she feels like there shouldn't be any competition between the companies. Now she goes on to say that she feels like the competition within wrestling should be between the wrestlers, about the wrestlers seeing who wants to be the main event of the show, who wants to make the most money, competing with. She says that she's competing there with everybody in AEW to let them know that she is the face of the company. She's not competing with any other company. Now, she kind of goes on to talk about wrestling tribalism just in general across the internet, saying that a lot of things just trail from the internet. People are just so in their phones going on the internet and bragging and complaining, and they're not actually living in the real world. When they come out into the real world and they go to wrestling shows and enjoy things with wrestling fans, they know that it is all just so much fun. People like to drag things and be mean on the internet just to be mean on the internet, but when they actually come to these shows in person, it's a whole different thing, which I kind of get. You can kind of go to any wrestling show, it doesn't matter whether it's AEW, WWE, or just your local independent thing, and have an absolutely great time just because live wrestling is the best. So it's interesting to say that she doesn't feel like there should be competition between the actual companies themselves, which is kind of mad, and if you speak to Tony Khan and Triple H, they would very much disagree. But it's good to see that she's got that kind of, not killer instinct, but that kind of ambition to sort of be the face of AEW, to be the best in this company. Drag that women's division up into new heights and put on a show. She was also speaking to The Ringer as well a couple of days ago, saying that she was going to steal the show at Double or Nothing, and also mentioned that sort of part of the reason she left WWE was because she didn't want to be handcuffed by them anymore. So she feels like she's been released, she's a new person, she's getting to be herself and try new things for the first time. So it's kind of exciting to see Mercedes Mone kind of going out on her own and seeing what this is actually going to look like on a sort of big American TV stage. It's been a long time coming, this first match in AEW. It feels like she's been there for ages with not a lot happening, and now we're finally getting that first match with Mercedes Mone, and I am sure she is going to absolutely nail it, because she is incredible in the ring, and it's one of the matches I'm most excited for on Double or Nothing, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a lot, to be honest. I'm looking at Double or Nothing now that I'm really intrigued by, but this is, like you said, this is one of those where I'm like, yeah, I really want to see what that looks like now, because it's been so long, and she is, on a day, she is without doubt, for me anyway, best women's wrestler on the planet, without a shadow of a doubt, and one of the best wrestlers on the planet, just full stop. Like, just take that little women's bit away, like one of the best on the planet, full stop. When she's on form and she's been like a mad woman, she's incredible, she's awesome. So I'm well into that, and I just want to see what happens, how they handle that character, how they did they really lean into the heel stuff and just have her do something horrible to Willow Nightingale, and he's like, I'll curse you, Money, and like just be this. Maybe she could even join the Elite, something like that. I could see that happening. That'd be a good way to fold that women's division and make it just feel like a bigger thing on the card as well. Just really fold it into the biggest story playing out currently in AEW right now. So I'd love to see something like that potentially. But Money, she is going to get all eyes on her, and I cannot wait to see what goes down at Double or Nothing. And speaking of Double or Nothing, a big old match is going to happen on that card as well. We're going to have Will Ospreay taking on Roderick Strong for the International Championship. Obviously, that's a big thing that's going down there. But Ospreay, he's got a lot going on right now, obviously. He's had a lot of big matches. Like, a lot of people are saying, maybe he's going to end up at Wembley at some point. Maybe, challenging for the world title, something like that. But something that he has in his own mind is something that he wants to kind of tick off his big checklist at some point in the future, is another match with Ricochet. Yes, WWE's Ricochet. So we know a lot of stuff's going to have to happen if that is going to go down. But he was speaking to comicbook.com, and he was just talking about Ricochet, because obviously they've got a really storied past together. They've had a lot of matches. Like, a certain match went down in WCPW, they've done a lot of stuff over the years. Twice, and they broke a ring. It was really good. So yeah, it was. They had a lot of stuff going down over the years, and it just makes Ospreay a little bit sad from the sounds of it. Like, looking at him in WWE and the way he's been used, the way he's been booked. More recently, I think he did comment on the whole speed thing, pretty threw a bit of shade to that. He said the fact they only value his time for under 5 minutes is appalling to him, which it is, to be honest, because Ricochet is one of the best high flyers of his generation, which is again something that Ospreay noted here. He was like, he's somebody who inspired so many people because he was just ridiculous for years, and he's just been a bit marginalised in WWE. There's no way of just changing that. That's the way it's been. And Ospreay also said that he just wants folks to remember how brilliant he can be on his day. And he then went into the whole contract talk, because there's been a lot of talks recently about potentially Ricochet's contract's going to be up maybe summertime. So that's an interesting one. I don't know, there's been rumblings about it, and he said if that is the case, and he's maybe heard through the rounds as well that might be coming up soon, then he thinks he should bet on himself. He thinks that he should bet on himself and try and just remind himself that he is one of the best high flyers out there. And he did say that folks within AEW genuinely appreciate his work as well. Like, a few people within AEW, they do appreciate his work, so he'd love, maybe he could come into the company and do a bit of that. And he said he'd love just to have a match with him again. And then he also, one of his last quotes in this thing was, if it means he's got to come for me, then do it, boss, because I'm right here waiting for you. So Ospreay versus Ricochet in AEW confirmed. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
I mean, this is very true, and I would be well up for it. Another bash at Ricochet versus Ospreay at this point in both of their careers, with this version of Will Ospreay. It'd be a very different match, and I would be very intrigued to see what those two could pull off. But it makes sense. He's got a lot of friends over there. Obviously, going back to the PWG days and things like that, got a lot of ties to the people in AEW at the minute. And in WWE, it's just he's never really been given a chance to show what he can do. He's had a few moments there in WWE, but not he's never been pushed in sort of main event level things. It's just, and when he just got destroyed by Brock Lesnar or something like that.
The pain. The pain of that memory.
It's never quite been there. And I think either WWE need to mix up his character a little bit and see if they can get a bit more of his personality out there in order to get him into sort of bigger feuds and things like that. But they need to do something else with Ricochet, because what they've been doing hasn't hasn't clicked and hasn't been working, and it's just not showing Ricochet to his full potential in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, Will Ospreay versus Ricochet will go down in history as one of the greatest rivalries of all time. The matches they pulled off were absolutely incredible. They had a huge run over a few years. Like I say, 2 of them were at WCPW, and one of them the top rope broke, and then it immediately became one of the most imaginative matches you could possibly imagine, because these 2 are just incredible, and you take away the one thing that you think would derail their entire match, i.e. the ropes, because look at both of all of their offense is very much tied into the ropes, and somehow they not only made it work, but made it work by tying it into the story of the match and used it as a thing within the match as well. And it was all just completely called on the fly because they had to get rid of all of their plans. So it's like they are very, very talented people, and I would be highly intrigued to see what Ricochet versus Will Ospreay looks like in 2024.
Yeah, me too. Not much more to add to that. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. But sticking with AEW heavy day today, the Owen Hart Cup. We have some new deals on it for this year. It has been announced. According to the Calgary Herald, it will be it will culminate at this year's Calgary Stampede at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. Great name. On the Wednesday, the July 10th edition of WWE Dynamite. Now, this is kind of tying it into the Calgary Stampede Rodeo Festival thing, which is kind of becoming a bit of a tradition, I guess. They tied it in last year as well, and now they're doing it the same this year. This is the 3rd year that they will have run the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Obviously, the first year was 2022, and it was won by Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And then in 2023, it was Ricky Starks and Willow Nightingale. Now, this also marks sort of 25 years since Owen Hart's death. It was this Thursday, was the 25th anniversary of Owen Hart's death. And it's obviously all for the Owen Hart Foundation, which Martha Hart set up in honor of Owen Hart back in 2000, using the funds that she got from the settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit that she had against WWE. And the foundation goes on to support like local, national, and international communities through scholarships, housing, and partnership programs. So it does a lot of good. And it's just a nice thing to have in wrestling to continue honoring Owen Hart in just a really nice way. And so it's going to happen again. July 10th is going to be the final of it, so we should start seeing it crop up onto AEW TV very soon.
Yeah, it's just a super nice thing that goes down in AEW, this tournament. I love it every year. I feel like it is made a big deal out of, but make it even bigger deal for me. Just make it the big standout thing of the year every single year, like what WWE are doing right now with the King of the Ring tournament. Just do that with the Owen Hart one. Just make it, just keep pushing it as the biggest thing in the company, because it's a lovely thing. It's just a lovely thing. It's a great thing in wrestling. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see who's going to be in it this year and who could be the potential winners. Who won it last year? Was it? I think it was Willow and Ricky Starks, right?
Willow and Ricky Starks. Yeah.
But I'm super intrigued again. So much things to be intrigued. So much things to be intrigued about. English. So many things to be intrigued about with AEW in the next couple of weeks and months. So yeah, keep your eyes on it. And then Phil's just allergic to all of it. Allergic to the new things.
But that is it. Thank you very much for joining us. You can click this video in the middle to continue your YouTube journey. But before you do that, go follow us over on Twitter.
Yes. At GMorgan04. Bye bye.